core invisibility tower bases have been taking over Clash of Clans lately. So that's why in this video I'll be providing you with a step-by-step guide on how to attack these kind of core invisibility tower bases, which works on every single one of them, so you can always freestart them when encountering them in either Legends League or in Clan Wars. With that, hello and welcome to yet another video. My name is Gum and you can already see we have the first incredibly popular core invisibility tower base here that could also shared by Itsu. And of course you see that it is in a Legends mode, in a new Legends mode with the Legends modifiers. But don't worry, even if you're like not in the Legends League but an Expert League or anything below, then don't worry, you can still replicate these attack strategies, because basically it's just still the same interactions but just easier. Like the defenses do less damage, your heroes do more damage. That's of course only going to benefit you. But what you're always trying to look for on these kind of bases with the core invisibility tower, you're always looking for like a path where you can easily funnel your royal champion into the core of the base. I like using this specific army, which I've also shared below. Of course the army link is in the description. But with like the 5 rocket loons, you can use those rocket loons for funneling. But what you're mainly going to do, you're going to send your royal champion in from one side, and then like relatively adjacent to that, you're going to use the queen in combination with the barracks and the giant arrow, which I have equipped on the archer queen, which you're of course going to use to trigger that invisibility tower. So in this specific base, I chose to go in from the 6 o'clock side, and then I can easily snipe out this fire spitter whenever like the wizard tower gets taken out by my royal champion, so I can snipe that out with a few rocket loons. I of course need a ton of rocket loons for that, but I've got 5 in his army. And then from the left hand side, you can then use your archer queen in combination with the giant arrow, as I did right now, to instantly trigger that invisibility tower. And with that, the invisibility tower is of course gone. CC comes out. I sadly messed up a little and didn't drop the poison spell on top of that furnace, so that furnace really makes my life very miserable. But you can see this bottom side is completely baited, so my fox goes down relatively quickly. But on the right hand side, the fire spitter has been taken out by my rocket loon, so now at this point there is nowhere for my royal champion to go except for into the middle of the base. So of course the air defense as well as the air sweeper have been taken out by my giant arrow. And now on the right hand side, also the rocket loons have taken out the fire spitter. So from the expo, after the expo, there is nowhere to go for the royal champion except for into the core of the base, where she can easily take care of everything in combination with the haze vial equipment. And after you've taken care of the core, it's basically not much left of the base. So that's exactly what's going to happen in this attack and what we're going to take a look at right now. Now I use the ability, now I also drop that earthquake spell to deal damage on top of everything. And then just the earthquake boots do like the electro boots do so much damage, because everything is just damaged up a little bit from the earthquake spell. So royal champion easily takes care of that whole clan castle, of that whole core. Unfortunately, still of course that furnace is left standing and is now going to actually get at my own furnaces, and therefore my furnaces do absolutely nothing. So if I didn't mess up that poison spell, of course my own furnaces would have done way more than it did right now. So unfortunately, of course, that multi-archer tower as well as the multi-archer tower is still left standing, which would have most likely gone down. But then just send your dragons in, use the lava hound to tank for like a few defenses. In this instant, of course, the minion prince as well as the multi-gear tower as well as 2 air defenses in combination with that ice block spell. And then afterwards, there's not much of damage left in this base. So you have a little bit of damage early on. That's of course why you're going to use the ice block spell to delay your Grand Warren ability a little bit. And then of course you're also going to use the Grand Warren Eternal Tome relatively early, just to protect every single bit of your dragons throughout that insane damage that you have in the beginning. But now you can see there's not much left standing of this base. You have the royal champion in the backend, you have the archer queen in the backend, and you have like 2 still very strong defenses in the backend against dragons. But of course we still have our minion prince ability, which we can use and which we're going to use. Now minion prince ability comes in, freezes absolutely everything. Of course a lot of seeking air mines now pop up and actually gets at my dragons and actually well, get rid of most of my dragons, but still, there's just not much left standing of this base, or well, not enough to really get this army down. So of course, this is a very, very popular base, a very hard base. There's also, of course, the variation where you don't have an invisibility tower in the core, but of course, for the variation where you don't have an invisibility tower in the core, you can still, of course, do the exact same thing, or you can even like save up your queen and not use it to trigger like the invisibility tower in the core that's not even there. But of course, first base is done. Let's dive right into the next one. Next base, and here we have this, like, I would say box type of base, which we're going to approach relatively similar, but in this case we're not going to go in from like a flank, I mean from like a corner, but rather from like the 4 o'clock side. But on this base we're going to need to redirect our role champion with some few invisibility spells. Of course, we have 11 invisibility towers in our army, but in this specific base it is going to be like just a little bit more multitasking. Not too much, it's still relatively simple, I would say, but it's just like you do have to watch out for a few things. But let's just take a look at how I approach this base. We're going to deploy our role champion on top of like both of those ricochet cannons, a few Tesla pop up, which is, to be honest, not too bad for us. I don't even know whether I use my rocket launchers to funnel, probably not even. And then, of course, from the right hand side, we're going to send in our Archer Queen, use the giant arrow to trigger that invisibility spell, and then, of course, also use the barracks to support our Archer Queen. And now Archer Queen in combination with the barracks, just take a look at how much value they can get. There is basically nothing that's going to stop them. There's no multi-inferno tower that's going to stop our furnaces. It's basically all defenses that can easily get taken out by our furnaces and are also not dealing too much damage against our queen as well as our giant. Of course, there is no monolith in there. And then, of course, Invisibility Tower now gets triggered, but now we have to watch out a little bit because we need to redirect our role champion. Role champion is now pathing a little bit unluckily, but now we need to redirect our role champion, or do we even know? She's going to walk in straight. Okay, she's going to walk in straight away, which is of course a little bit lucky in this case that she walked into the core by herself. We had to watch out a little bit with like the role champion losing quite a bit of damage, but just take a look. Once you're in that core and once you drop that earthquake spell as well as using that haste vial, the core is gone in an instant. And now the role champion walks even further, triggers like a few traps, and now we still have one invisibility spell we can use on top of our Archer Queen, so our Archer Queen can do maybe like a little bit of more work. I was hoping for her to like take out that multi-archer tower, so that multi-archer tower is not going to do too much against our furnaces, which was sadly not the case. But now dragons come in from the bottom side. Once again, we used like the ice block spell in combination with the lava hound to tank the minion prince as well as the single inferno tower. With that, the single inferno tower is going to do absolutely nothing. Baby dragon on the left hand side is going to funnel our troops back into the base, so they actually stay clumped up together. And now what's even left of this base? We have 2 scatter shots, we have 1 multi-arch tower, we have 1 monolith and 1 air defense on the top side, which we can still take out with a few rocket launchers we have left because we didn't need them for funneling. And we still have like the Grand Warranty Total Tome, we still have the Minion Prince ability. So what's basically going to stop this attack? And the answer basically is nothing. Nothing's going to stop this attack. So therefore, these are going to be wonderful 3 stars, which you can easily replicate. You just really, it was also possible for my RC to not directly step into the core by herself. Then we probably had to like make this bottom Inferno Tower invisible. And once we made that bottom Inferno Tower invisible, she would have probably walked her way into the core of the base. And as I already said, once you're in the core of the base is basically gone and you have no way of defending. So that's basically the trick to always like get these bases down. You need to deploy your role champion from a side where you can easily funnel her into the core with like maybe 1 or 2 invisibility spells you need to redirect. Then adjacent to your role champion, you're going to use the queen in combination with a barracks Of course, you want to center in from a side where your barracks is actually going to get value. So of course, you don't want to send your barracks into a multi-inferno tower or a ricochet cannon, for example, because a multi-inferno tower as well as a ricochet cannon, they are going to fully counter your furnaces, which is of course not perfect. You want your furnaces to get a lot of value, which of course is the case if you send them into like a scatter shot or a monolith or something else, which was perfectly the case in this attack. But of course, we have more attacks to take a look at. Next attack on the list is this base from Felipe, and of course, yes, I do know there is no invisibility tower in the core, but normally there is. Normally on this base you would have an invisibility tower here in the bottom, I mean in the core of the base where there currently is a rage tower. So I'm going to do the exact same setup which I would do if there was like a rage tower in there. And that is, we're going to go in from the top side, then we're going to send in our Archer Queen with the giant arrow as well as the barracks from the left hand side, like into the monolith straight, use the giant arrow to trigger that invisibility tower, and then we just need one invisibility spell to redirect our royal champion into the core of the base. And then once we're in the core of the base is basically gone. So let's take a look at how is this going to work out. And I would say this is a base you've probably already faced either in Legends League or in like Clan Wars or in Clan Wars League. This base is so incredibly popular. So if you like know how to triple it, you're good to go to triple in so many attacks. Exactly what we're going to do. We're going to send in our Archer Queen with the barracks from the left hand side, and now just one invisibility spell to redirect our royal champion into the core of the base. We already triggered the invisibility spell that was in the core of the base early on. So now our royal champion is in the core of the base. We're going to rush straight through there with the earthquake spell as well as with the haze vial, with the equipment. And now once again you're going to see our furnaces basically have nothing against them. They have like an expo, multi-archer tower, a mortar. Of course, the multi-archer tower can do quite a bit of work, but of course our royal champion did so incredibly much that she is even going to take out that multi-archer tower. So after that multi-archer tower is gone, our furnaces can take out that whole left-hand side and basically have nothing against them. And then we can send in our dragons from the top side. I'm probably messed up a little bit here with like the Lava Hound. This Lava Hound, I was hoping for it to fly to the air defense on the right hand side to like so I can tank that multi-archer tower as well as the Archer Queen with the ice block. Sadly didn't work out quite a bit, so I tried reacting with like taking out this air defense with my rocket loons. But then of course my Lava Hound still wasn't flying exactly how I wanted her to. But yeah, then I just dropped the ice block spell on top of that because I basically had nothing else to do with it. But still, even though I basically swagged my ice block spell as well as my Lava Hound, this base is still completely crushed because you can see we still have not much base left. We still have our Grand Warranty Toronto we're going to use right now. Then afterwards instantly deploy our Minion Prince ability as well just to slow every single one of those defenses down. And after that, there's basically really nothing left of this base. What's there left? There's one air defense, there's a multi-gear tower that's slowed, there are like a few Tesla that's slowed, there's the Royal Champion which is like not going to be able to stop this giant force on this giant dragon force, as well as the Minion Prince which still has the Phoenix on him, as well as of course this Dark Crown equipment. With the Dark Crown he can do so much damage in such a quick time. So that's exactly what's happening. That Minion Prince is stomping through every single defense that comes into his way, and with that we also have tripled this incredibly popular base. So if you're facing any of these free bases we've seen in this video, you now know exactly how to triple them, as well as of course if you see any other invisibility tower base or like with a core invisibility tower, you know exactly how to approach them. Sometimes you do have to redirect with the Royal Champion, I mean with invisibility spells, but sometimes the Royal Champion also walks into the core by herself. With that I would say see you guys soon with the next video. Until then, see ya and bye bye.